Honda was a very interesting company in the early 1960s. Unrecognizable as the titan they were to later become, Honda was making small motorcycles, subcompact K trucks, and the S600 Roadster, all exclusive to their home market of Japan. Looking to expand outside their borders and begin exporting vehicles, Soichiro Honda was convinced by Takeo Fujisawa to look to America for future success. At the time, the American motorcycle import market was nearly non-existent, less than 10,000 units annually. Fujisawa's intent was simple yet ambitious. He wanted to sell more imported motorcycles every month than had previously been sold in a year. Unfortunately, Honda saw a shaky start in the US. Sales were far short of Fujisawa's lofty goals until he turned to world-renowned advertising agency Gray Advertising, who sourced the idea for their future ad campaign from a student at UCLA named Mike Curb. That ad campaign became a case study for marketing that has endured ever since, launching Honda's Super Cub into the zeitgeist and on to become the most prolific motor vehicle in history. As of 2017, the total number of Super Cubs produced exceeded 100 million, and they are still produced today. It is truly amazing what could come just from 8 words.
You meet the nicest people on a Honda.
So when I got a message asking, hey, do you want a free Honda Super Cub? I said yes, clearly. Then I badgered John Ross into coming with me.
Make sure you have the most interference possible.
I should have thought of a way to intro this on the way here. This place looks oddly familiar, and I'm not sure how I got here, but we're here. It's Robert! Do you have a screwdriver?
Yes.
The tool, not the drink. Fantastic. Hi! Robert messaged me on the social network formerly known as Twitter, that I will continue to refer to as Twitter, and said that he had been offered a project. It's an old Honda. I like old Hondas. It's a motorcycle. It's been EV swapped. It sounded like fun at the time. So now I'm here, and it's getting alarmingly late, alarmingly quickly, and we're going to try and make the electric Honda move.
Electrically,
yeah, let's figure something out before I go insane. It's a Honda C70! You now know as much about this as I do. I've also only ever seen this side of it. I haven't seen this side, and there is...
What year is it? 1983!
Ah.
I could not made that more clear.
Robert now knows more about it than I do. There's a lot going on over here. If you can't tell, an electrical engineer built this, and he did a very good job, actually. This is,
Very neat.
it's very cool. It's very well executed.
You can't even tell that I laid the bike over on these relays.
This thing is overbuilt and I love it. So we have a rear hub motor, 5 kilowatt power handling supposedly, a motor controller. What brand did we say? A Sabaton 3 kilowatt motor controller? No way. It's 72 volt 80 amp. Now I don't know if Sabaton rates it in battery amps or phase amps, but that sounds like a lot more than 3 kilowatts to me. The story with this is that he built it, it wasn't quite up to his standards, so he moved on to bigger and better things using this as a learning tool, and now I have the learning tool. I need to avoid talking facts because facts are easily looked up on Wikipedia and people are very quick to remind me of everything I said wrong ever. And everything I ever wanted from a small electric project was to have a rad old scooter. I always pictured a Vespa with a silent electric drivetrain that I can ride around downtown Wichita and get smiles. And this is pretty much all of that, minus a battery. Fortunately, I have plus a battery right here. This is a 60 volt, 18.2 amp hours. For whatever reason, my brain works in amp hours and everyone else always states things in terms of watt hours, which I can never interpret in my head. But this is the stock battery, I think, out of an e-box electric dirt bike. A friend of mine got a better battery and just gave me this. So that's cool. Thanks, Cody.
It's a half a kilowatt hour.
Half a kilowatt hour. It looks like on this bike we've got some actually very well executed 3D printed battery holders for what were 2 36 volt e-bike batteries, if I had to hazard a guess. And I have a sneaking suspicion that could not be more perfect. Yeah, if we get rid of these center sections, it's the perfect length and width to fit the e-box battery. The problem that I anticipate is if this controller is programmable, it's probably set for a specific voltage range, and this may or may not either exceed or be lower than that voltage range. A lot of controllers, you can set them for low voltage cutoffs. So if this was set up for 42 volts, if this was set up for 72 volts, this 60 volt battery will be below the low voltage threshold, and this will not let the bike move. So we'll find that out. Getting it moving here is just kind of a nice thing that I'd like to do because it would be amusing, even though it's a 6-hour drive back home and it's already, like, late. We're resorting to caveman techniques.
You're so close to the microphone.
Hello?
No, I meant the hammer was close to the microphone.
Oh. ASMR, you are being hammered. You did it. Man, that printed plastic has a great sense of comedic timing. It sort of wants to fit, but not really. I can just go sideways. Perfect, it's big zip tie time. Does this sound amazing or what? I got the pigtail for the battery attached to the controller. Only used half of the toolbox to do it. That's an improvement over my usual MO. Double check, I do have positive to positive and negative to negative, so that's a good start. Oh, these aren't anti-spark. They're not anti-spark, so they did in fact spark. Hey, we have headlight. Turn signals.
But what's the remote do?
Ooh, what does the remote do?
I forgot it has an alarm system.
Is this start?
Yeah, can't you hear it running now? Okay, let's get the wheel off.
The placement of the rear light.
Ooh! Oh my god. That is...
Ooh.
Oh, does it have a horn?
Wow. Well,
It's your intro.
test drive time.
Welcome to Aging Wheels. What's Honda? Sorochio Honda? Is that his name? I think this is exactly what the Honda engineers had in mind when they designed this motorcycle. Actually, that's better than I... Oh. Solutions have arrived. No one's watching my content for education. There we go. They're watching it so they can watch funny Midwestern man fail at everything. I'm gonna go that way.
Okay.
I'm stuck. Robert despises my existence enough to subject me to the Twike. I'm very excited. I love that it sounds like a bicycle. Oh my gosh, how do you get in it?
Like that.
Oh,
It's easy.
oh yeah, it's...
First test drive I did, I forgot I had seatbelts.
Oh, that's good. Oh, you steer it with a... Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I wasn't prepared for...
It's real sketchy too. Ready?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever be ready, but I guess we're going. Oh, we're going downhill.
Regen too.
Oh, hey, that works, kind of. Oh, that... No.
My exact thought.
I don't like that very much. There's a lot of noises happening.
Uh-huh.
This is a very dramatic experience. Oh,
Very, very easily flip this.
This
The Siri
is-
has a damper, thankfully.
this does not feel safe.
Nope. Honestly, the technology since this thing was designed in... Ah!
Oh, this
throttle's
is
stuck
how
on.
we die.
The throttle's stuck on.
Wait, did you say the throttle's stuck on?
Yes, it did, just then. It happened last time I came to that intersection, too.
You should stop going there.
You want to get it up to 35?
No, but sure.
Oh, we're there. That's enough. That's enough. Oh, here's the horn. I've never heard the horn. You ready? No!
Wow!
Oh my
Why is it in the passenger compartment? I'm not here to alert myself. Ah, look, they're getting our final moments. Oh,
Oh, that's cruise control.
what?
I forgot it has cruise control. That's what I'm doing. The throttle's not stuck. It's designed like that.
Oh.
Cruise control's on right now.
Why would you ever want
To
that?
activate cruise control, you double tap the button.
You would never, you would never hit the throttle twice in a row normally. Oh, right, it has a reverse. Oh, look at the little gear shifter. That is fantastic. Hello, fellow normal human.
Perfectly normal car. Turn around here.
Yeah, we're just doing
big deal.
normal human
I
things.
do kind of get it though. I like this.
Doing normal things in my human skin suit.
Yeah.
Maybe the peppiness is just amplified by how 15 miles an hour feels like a death. So, oh my gosh!
Oh man. Okay, I'm glad I got over my fear of driving this thing. It's a riot.
I was not prepared.
I wouldn't either.
Wow. Oh, right, it just started. What year is this?
91.
But it's pretty much unchanged since the 60s, right?
70s.
70s?
Yes. Yeah.
I always think these are older than they are for what. Because I look at this and I think Volkswagen Beetle.
They went into production, I think, 2012, if I'm remembering correctly. And it's basically unchanged.
Man, I would have loved to go to the dealership in 2012 and pick me up one of these.
Go to Egypt. I drove this daily for. Oh, there's John Ross in my Polestar. Oh, talk about night and day difference.
Yeah, he's the one that's making it day.
Wow, is that what I do to people at night? Holy crap!
So the engine runs far smoother than I expected.
It's really nice, isn't it?
This feels charming. Like I mean, maybe my experience is colored slightly by the Twike, and this feels like a luxury vehicle by comparison.
That's the secret.
I don't hate this. Like, this is perfectly reasonable. Comfortable even.
It is very comfortable.
How are the brakes?
Yeah.
Yeah, very mushy. I just stepped on several grapefruits. The transmission feels unreasonably good.
Really?
It clicks very positively into gear. It feels so good. I expected,
Horrific trash?
yes. Ooh, the steering is weird.
Yeah.
It's easy until it's not. It rides nice, it's smooth, it steers vaguely in directions that you point the steering wheel. Oh, rally launch. This is what all the My Summer Car streamers can only dream of doing. This is a very pretty area.
My car looks good. I never see it from the outside.
I know, right? Oh, is
I'm
that?
gonna hold back so we can launch it.
I'll do my best to get out of his way.
I should have told him, don't launch it from 0, launch it from 40 so you can get the full kick.
Does it nerf itself from 0?
You have to limit it to save the CVs.
This is faster than my Ford Ranger.
Really?
Yes, on
The
it.
0 to 60 of this is about 11 seconds, which when I did that, I had a few commenters said, that's kind of fast-ish.
I'm a silhouette.
You are a silhouette. I was looking at that. I don't know what to do. Here, there we go.
Hello. I like how there's an economy gauge. Is that just vacuum?
I guess.
I wish I had the room to just own all of the quirky little around town vehicles that my heart desires, because this is absolutely something that I would use to just pop down into town real quick.
Like I said, I used it as a week for my daily driver when the Polestar was off.
Yeah, but that was a shift.
It was, but I preferred this over the garbage rental Versa that.
Okay, here we go. John Ross isn't gonna know what hit him.
Not bad.
No, actually. Can I heel toe it?
No, I can't.
I did.
Well, that was good. That's better than I can do it usually.
Race car, race car, race car.
Love that 20.
Wow. What a charmer.
If I were to EV convert this, which I'm not going to do, but if I were to, I would call it the Red Scare.
Wait, why does the key go a full rotation?
I don't know.
Where's off? Uncharacteristically for me, that went pretty well. We didn't die in the Twike, we didn't suffocate in the Lada, and the bike actually worked somehow.
There's still time.
But he gonna pull my fingernails off?
Well, I was going to just stab you with it.
Oh! All right, Robert, thank you very much. Thank you very much to the viewer that donated it. And we also are hopefully going to go try and throw another thing in the truck, which you will see on the channel later. But the rest of this episode, we're going back to Kansas and we're going to work on the bike a bit more. And I got a project that works. That never happens.
So do you want me to move to Kansas or are you going to move to Missouri?
They're both just so terrible.
Both move to Colorado.
Yeah. Once I got the Honda home, I immediately started taking apart the battery mount that the original builder had put on there. I briefly considered top mounting the new battery, but then I realized that really putting it where the engine block was going to be the best solution. In order to unbolt the block, the kickstand would have to come off, so I ended up dangling the entire bike from the ceiling while I unbolted that and then tack welded together the world's most awful bracket to hold the foot pegs, kickstand, and the battery. Once that was done, the bike was more or less rideable, and so I rode it around a bit while I figured out what else I wanted to do. One of the big concerns was making this thing look cool, and I always really wanted the big leg guard, shin guard things and the fairings that you see on old scooters like this. So I found some on eBay that were actual reproductions for this specific year Honda, and despite that, they still didn't mount right, and I had to make some really jank brackets to bolt them onto the bike, but I did, and they look absolutely fantastic. The side covers just kind of loosely sit over the electronics and whatnot that they're covering, but they do cover them, so I'm considering that a win. The other thing I really wanted was a dashboard or gauge cluster, or at least a speedometer, and unfortunately the Sabaton controller that was on it was not going to work with anything, so it ended up resigned to the junk pile, and I got a different Sabaton controller, which I ordered with a compatible gauge cluster. Unfortunately, when I got it, it was DOA and the company would not get back to me. It would work technically, but it wouldn't save any settings, so there was something wrong with the flash memory portion of the controller itself. I did some Googling online and it turns out that's actually an issue that a couple other people have experienced, so I wrote that off entirely. And I got this Far Driver controller, and after buying this Far Driver controller, I will never buy another brand of controller other than Far Driver or Vesk, because this thing is absolutely fantastic, and I got this really nifty gauge cluster for it that even has CarPlay, which is super jank, and I've got this little speaker here hooked up to it so it can play music from my phone, because that's, you know, that's important. I wasn't a huge fan of the LED light strip stuck to the back, so I got these sort of retro style lights and wired them up. Unfortunately, the wiring isn't exactly pretty, but it, you know, it's functional. It's a functional bike. is, at this point, a functional bike. Almost a year after I got it, this thing finally does what I wanted it to do, which is, well, cruise mostly. The rear hub motor is really neat because this thing is just dead silent, and because it's so quiet and so retro looking, this thing gets smiles everywhere it goes. The nice thing about the Far Driver is that it is incredibly tunable, so I was really able to set this thing up exactly how I wanted it. Something else the Far Driver is really good at is managing the battery. As the battery gets low, this thing starts pulling current, and you can't even really tell that the battery is getting low. The Sabaton controller this had before would more or less just give you full power right up until the moment the battery dies, which I did experience when I was doing a range test once. I think I got to 25 miles of range, and then the bike shut off, and I had to push it a mile and a half home from there. I thought I had plenty of range left because of what the voltage was at, but apparently this thing has a very conservative BMS in that battery. I'm also able to configure things like variable regen and field weakening, which is actually enabled by default, which gives this thing a top speed of 40 miles an hour at 60 volts, which is about right. Unfortunately, the battery capacity isn't quite there, and this thing can't handle all of the amps that this thing wants to draw. I accidentally had this thing set to the full 120 amps when I installed it and didn't realize, and I think 60 amps of regen. And let me tell you, at those power levels, this thing is a party, but I don't think I did my battery any favors, and as soon as I realized that I had it set to that, I put it back. I turned it way down. So I think right now I'm running at 60 amps of current and 30 amps of regen, which is still enough to be plenty fun and plenty brisk. I mean, I'm able to keep up with traffic no problem, but it's not exactly a ripper like it was. Still though, it surprises some people, and it's very manageable. Really, the biggest problems with this thing are the Honda parts of it. Unfortunately, this frame just doesn't have room for any more battery than what I have in here. I was going to do a 72-volt battery build with perhaps some more capacity, but really the battery that it's got is about all that I have room for, so I'm kind of just stuck with this as it is. The other problem is this suspension is, well, atrocious. There's not much you can do about it just due to the leading swing arm in the front and not a lot of travel in the rear. I mean, you could get some nicer rear shocks, but what's the point when you're stuck with that front suspension? Something I would like to do in the future is ditch these off-road tires though. They make no sense, especially given the suspension issues that I just talked about. I mean, what are you gonna do? Go off-roading with this? I don't think so. They kind of look neat and chunky, but I think some more svelte tires and the lower rolling resistance that comes with them might do this thing some good. So there we have it, a 70s Honda converted to electric and turned into a really cool silent cruiser. Thank you, Robert, for sending this thing my way, and thanks to the original builder for sending it Robert's way, I guess. This thing is super cool, and it's pretty much exactly what I've always wanted out of a small personal electric vehicle. It's been a lot of fun to build over the course of the last year since I picked it up. I think it's almost a year since I got this thing now, and I'm finally getting around to finishing this video. But there's still a lot I want to do to this. Obviously, I might paint it. I'll probably swap out the tires, maybe some other things. But for now, here it is. It's been real fun. Thank you all for watching. And then I'm getting rained on. Cool.